Do you really have what it takes in order to become an entrepreneur in 2024? Well, in today's video, we are going to figure that out because I'm going to be giving you some of the tips and tricks that I wish I knew when I first started business. Okay, let's get into it. First up, what is the mentality of an entrepreneur? What makes an entrepreneur different than the common population or the common working people? Well, the main thing, in my opinion, isn't going to be your financial status, okay? Isn't going to be necessarily your background or your upbringing or even, what kind of people you have around you. It all starts with the mindset. It all starts with the wanting for, in my case, and I know in many other people's cases, is time freedom. Okay, at the end of the day, the reason why I do so much of what I do is for that time freedom. Okay, that is a very important phrase, time freedom. Okay, because that is what's going to keep pushing you, or in my case, it's going to push me. You find out what it is that's going to push you through those dark times, through those hard times, because you're going to need to lean onto something. Motivation is not enough on this journey. Okay, motivation will come and go like a flame. All right, motivation is not something that stays consistent throughout your life. Okay, especially when you get tried and tested on this journey. Okay, you're gonna need to dig a little deeper. All right, so when I first started my journey, I had to figure out, okay, what was that true why? Okay, and when I say your true why, it's not the why that you answer right away. If I were to ask you, why are you doing this? Okay, it has to be deeper than that. It's not going to be that first reaction. It's usually going to get down to, I like to say it's about the fifth, sixth, or seventh why. Okay, so if I ask you, why do you want to become an entrepreneur? And you give me an answer, I'm going to ask you, okay, why do you want that? And then I'm going to keep going down deeper. Why do you want that? Why is that important? Okay, and usually, and I've done this with some clients already, usually the deep why is the why that makes you cry. Okay, if your why does not make you cry, it does not bring up some type of emotion, then it usually isn't your true why. And the reason why we want a why that makes us cry is because we want that emotion that's going to keep that fire burning within us. The emotion is energy in motion. So that energy is going to be able to propel us past those tough times. Okay, and I keep bringing up the fact that there will be tough times because everybody will go through them. And I fell victim to thinking that, I was something special. It wasn't going to happen to me. And although, yes, I am special, I'm not exempt from hard times. And even though I do something special, which is heal people, make herbal formulas, educate people on health and spirituality and things like that, does not mean that Spirit Universe is going to bring me on this, yellow brick road. It's going to bring me on this beautiful path that's never going to have any failures or any tests or heartbreaks. The exact opposite. The bigger impact that you are making, the bigger the challenges. Okay? The bigger impact that you are making, the bigger the challenges. So for me, it came up in the form of financial challenges. It came in the form of comfort, avoiding too much comfort. I had a very sharp rise in the first 1 to 2 years of my business. Going from making $40,000 a year doing Uber or $30,000 a year in the corporate job I had to making $70,000 in just my first year of business was a shock to me. But it didn't really, affect me as much as I thought it did until I reached my second year in business, where we went from 70,000 to $500,000. And that was when the tests really started to come through. That's when, a couple of the inner demons that I had, the inner traumas that I had really started to come about and really started to present themselves as problems in my business, and it was a rough time. I will admit it was a really rough time for me. One of the things that really got me through it, I would say, is investing into that education, investing into help. Okay, and that came in the form of lots and lots of coaching. Okay, I had a self-love coach, I had a spiritual coach, I had a business coach, and if I wouldn't have invested into this, I don't believe that I would be here making these videos. I probably would have been back to doing Uber or something else like that, because they really helped propel me, and they helped me to see some blind spots that I had. They helped me pinpoint certain traumas that I had in my earlier childhood that led to these self-sabotaging, actions that I was acting out in my business. So, the importance of coaching. I want to stress that real quick. The importance of coaching, no matter how big you get, no matter how much profit you earn, no matter how many years you are in business, you will never know everything. Nor is it fun to know everything. You want to still have teachers around. You want to still have people that can show you things that you may not really, see. There may be your blind spots. So you want to invest into coaching, into teaching, into community, into, being around like-minded people, whether it be conferences or webinars, or, you always want to stay on your toes and be around people who are always going to keep feeding you fresh and new, because it's so easy to be comfortable. And that was my problem. I just got comfortable too fast, thinking this is how it's always going to be. Man, I don't have to put in extra work. I can just do the work that got me here, thinking that it's going to take me to the place that I want to go. And that's just not the case. It will never be the case. Okay? What got you to the league isn't going to take you far in the league. Okay? So you always want to invest in some type of coaching and some type of mindset development and some type of financial development and some type of educational development type of program or person or center, because that's going to keep you in the game. That's going to keep you improving year after year. Okay, remember, what got you there will not get you to where you really want to go. All right, so you always have to think of improving yourself, and that is the one thing about entrepreneurs that I feel like separate the other people. Is a lot of people get really complacent. It's very easy to get complacent when things are very predictable. You show up at a certain time, you leave at a certain time, you expect a certain number on your paycheck, you know exactly what you're gonna do day in, day out. There's not really much guesswork, there's not really much growing that you need to do. It's more so just maintaining. So the one thing about entrepreneurs is they're always focused on growing, whether it be profits or whether it be the team that they have or whether it be the location that they have or whether it be the products that they sell and their offerings, or their marketing strategy or their branding. They're always looking at ways to improve. They're always trying to diagnose little problems, fix the little patches that will eventually lead to a bigger leak, You never want to get too complacent, and that for sure was my biggest mistake my first 2 years in business. Year 3 and 4, the growth wasn't as exponential as it was in my first and second year. We went from making $500,000 in my second year to $500,000 in my third year, so there wasn't exponential growth. However, it was a lot more predictable, a lot more sustainable because of the systems that I was able to put in place. So now we have this floor that we've kind of reached, and which used to be a ceiling. And now we have this floor to where we're not really going lower, which is, as an entrepreneur, it makes it very easier for me. It makes it a lot more comfortable for me, less predictable for me. Less scary, to be honest. And now we have a solid foundation, a solid floor that we can grow on, and that's going to come with preparing these systems, preparing these operations in order to keep that floor where it is. And now you think of ways to exponentially grow, ways to bring in that upside. How do we get from that $500,000 to $1 million now in a year? So now that's going to come from just being creative, from strategy, from new partnerships, maybe new products, or just new marketing on those existing products. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to think of something completely new. Most of the times people don't really need a completely new product. They just aren't really selling their product properly, or I would say many people aren't really selling their product to their fullest potential. So keep figuring out ways to sell that existing product, besides being that person that always goes back to the lab to create something new, and finding something that kind of sticks to the wall. It's a lot easier to sell to your current base than it is to make new customers. So that will be a video in the future. If you are interested in that, go ahead and leave a comment down below. If you enjoyed this video where I shared some tips, some tricks, and some wisdom that I've learned on my journey, I would love for you to leave a comment down below. Go ahead and subscribe if you've made it to this point of the video, and I will see you again next week for another one.